You're listening to The Real Estate Ride. Make sure to subscribe and enjoy the show.
With rents and option payments over the years, we've collected $22,800 in that amount. So you add the two together, and in 6.5 years, we have collected $75,022.46 in
Nothing out of our pocket.
with zero money down. Now, granted, we did pay about $2,000 to repair the foundation and the floor joists. So to be totally transparent, we did invest a little bit of money in the property, but we put that $2,000 in October, and then the tenant moved in November and paid us $2,500 down payment, non-refundable.
Mm-hmm.
So we were plus $500 just in the first month as soon as we owned it.
Hey everybody, it's Jay and Annie Adkins, and we are talking to you today about a case study for one of our properties that we have in our portfolio.
I thought I was talking first.
It doesn't matter who talks first. Talk about the portfolio.
So this is our next case study. As Annie said, in our real estate master plan, we wanted to show you how easy it can be sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. In this case, this property was found and it was just a 3-day process. So we're going to share our screen with you and go over this particular deal.
All right, so this is for 53 Burt Avenue, and it is here local to our market and to us. And the landlord at the time, or the owner, was just a friend of ours that we knew from, he owns local restaurants here as well. So,
yep. But we acquired this one with no money down and no marketing money in 3 days. So we're going to share that with you today.
all right. So this is just a 30,000-foot view of the case study, just like it says. So we're going to talk about the who, the what the goal was, what the problem with the property was, what our strategy was with the owner, how we executed the deal, and the results and everything that we used. So you will know from start to finish exactly how we did it.
So who was it? As Annie said, tired landlord. Tired as in he didn't want to be a landlord. He just had one investment property that he didn't want to deal with. He put it on the market. It was a single family home, as you saw from the picture. It looks like it's in really good shape, which it was. It had new flooring and paint, and that's because they had it on the MLS. They actually tried to sell this on the MLS and couldn't get financing because why?
Of the problem.
The
It
problem.
was a foundation issue, and there were actually rotted floor joists under the bathroom too.
Yes. So foundation issues and rotted floor joists are a no for a retail buyer. They don't know how to fix that. They don't know how to do it. Their bank won't let them do it typically unless you had a specialty rehab loan. And so buyers were unable to buy the property, and it was for sale at the time for $45,000. And our goal was to get the property with zero money down and no interest.
And the landlord's goal, of course, or the current owner at the time, was to get rid of the house because, again, he owned some businesses here locally that were restaurants. He was very busy, him and his wife both. And it was just a regular old one investment property type deal.
Yes, it was more like get rid of the headache.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So this was a headache to him with being unable to sell it. And so this one, we did our standard questions, and we found out the property was free and clear. And so that's how we could get a no interest loan. And then our goal typically is to fill that property with a tenant buyer or a lease option buyer on our end.
Yeah, we have quite a few rentals, and we typically try to do that with most single family houses so that they can actually own property when they wouldn't necessarily be able to otherwise.
Right.
So,
And typically, just so you know, people normally don't execute. Lives change, people move on. And so in this instance, these folks did not buy this property.
Right. And we still have it to this day.
Yes. And so in order to execute the deal, we had to do our property inspection. And then that inspection resulted in a rehab budget, which, as we discussed, just needed some floor joists and then obviously new subfloor and flooring over top of that.
And then some foundation work in the, not a crawl space, but it wasn't a regular finished space either.
Yeah. Cellar
Entry.
pressurization. Yeah. And so in this instance, we did a title search. There were no liens. That's important. And then we had a land contract developed by our attorney.
Yep.
Everybody signed it and we recorded it. So the purchase price again, $45,000, no interest, payments of $416.67 a month, and that would be 9 years, and that property would be paid off.
So the benefit to the current owner when we purchased it was just a free and clear property sitting empty that he could not sell. So he's making $416.67 a month by us doing this deal with him. So he was happy and we were happy because we got a no interest loan and we can obviously rent a single family home for a little bit more than what we're making a payment for.
Yeah, so the power of this, instead of using a bank, is we can pay the house off in 9 years instead of 30. So let that sink in.
Yeah.
Right? That's $416 a month that you don't have to pay for 21 years, and then you own it free and clear.
And you can hear the dog bark. So the results on this deal were we spent zero money on ads and we actually spent $20 on bandit signs. So the bandit sign and putting them out front at the house itself. We spent zero money otherwise in any marketing that we did, whether to get the property or to rent the property.
So the $20 was for the bandit signs and the H stakes to stick in the ground. And we simply put on the ad just what we put on the screen: rent to own, bad credit, okay.
Yep.
And we usually put 3-1 on there, the house type, and then as well as a call capture phone number. So that allows us to capture everyone's phone number that calls on the ad. And then if we get another house, we can market to them later. But we secured this lease option buyer with $2,500 down. That's basically a 3.5% FHA loan down payment.
Which is what we used for all of our tenant buyers. Yeah. Percent of what the loan would be for an FHA loan.
So year one, rent was $795 a month. And then we extended their lease for year 2, 3, and 4. And we raised the rent, and then we would continue to raise the price of the house because we started at $79,000, and I think we ended year 4 at $99,000.
Yeah,
because the market continues to go up steadily here.
And when they did not execute on their purchase price, then it sat empty, or on their purchase contract, it sat empty for probably a month at most. And then we had an interest from a friend of ours who had a daughter coming in from out of the country and needed a place to stay with her and her boyfriend at the time. So we Airbnb'd it for a little bit and got $900 for the month that they were there.
Yep.
And then our oldest daughter decided that she wanted to move out. So her and her friend, who is still currently the tenant in this house, decided that they wanted to rent it from us. And then we put them in there right after the Airbnb. So honestly, we just, since it was our daughter and her best friend, said that we would
do a regular rental.
rental.
No lease option.
And pay for all of their utilities because the utilities were already on for the Airbnb. So we just rolled everything into one payment for those girls so that they could have their own place fresh out of high school and starting college. And
they've been there 3 years here soon. And so, well, minus our daughter.
She'll go back in after some. Anyways.
We refinanced it this last year because we wanted to take cash out to buy another property. And so we refinanced it, paid off the small balance. I think we owed like what, 12,000 to
Yeah.
the seller still.
I think about 12 or 13.
So we paid them off, and then we also took $52,222.46 cash out, tax free.
Because it was a refinance and not a sale, so you don't have to pay capital gains on that.
Yes, tax free. Did I mention it's tax free? So we did that, and then with rents and option payments over the years, we've collected $22,800 in that amount. So you add the two together, and in 6.5 years, we have collected $75,022.46 in
Nothing out of our
profits
pocket.
with zero money down. Now, granted, we did pay about $2,000 to repair the foundation and the floor joists. So to be totally transparent, we did invest a little bit of money in the property, but we put that $2,000 in October, and then the tenant moved in November and paid us $2,500 down payment, non-refundable.
Mhm.
So we were plus $500 just in the first month as soon as we owned it.
And in all honesty, if the tenant buyer has an issue with a down payment or with a deposit and not being refundable, call it a option
fee.
an option fee or a purchase fee or whatever makes them feel warm and fuzzy about it.
Oh, we forgot to put in our slides that actually the first tenant buyer wanted a privacy fence and installed what is the equivalent of a $10,000 privacy fence in today's pricing.
Yep. And it is still there and in still solid condition. And then
Thank you, tenant buyer.
exactly for improving the property.
We are very grateful.
So what we used for stuff to do with this deal is our CRM,
What's that, Annie?
customer relations something. No management. I never remember what CRM stands for. I know what it is. I use it almost every day, but I do not remember what the
That's
acronym.
just our system to manage all of our leads, incoming and outgoing, and any messaging, websites.
Yep. And there are
costs.
I'm sorry. There are a ton of them available. So we use FreedomSoft.
Ours.
Right. I was going to say we use FreedomSoft, and then we also have some other options that we have used in the past, but
FreedomSoft is the way, and we will teach you all about that if you want. That would be a bonus for you.
yeah. And then there's a local attorney that does real estate deals. We have one that does all of our paperwork, that does all of our mortgages and notes and everything that we do. So then we have a local title company that we work with very, very often and is very investor friendly. So I think that those are probably important points to make as far as an attorney and title company is concerned. Make sure that they're real estate knowledgeable and real estate investor friendly.
So other assets are your mortgage lender, and what they did was pre-screen our tenant buyer and verify that they made enough money to get a loan. We want to make sure we put someone in there that makes enough money to actually be able to execute. We don't want to just take somebody's money for no reason. And then my real estate license is used. I saw the property on the MLS, and I am able to run comps on there. So that's a powerful asset for us. Credit repair for the tenant buyer.
Yep.
We have them talk to a credit repair specialist and actually try to help them get in position to buy, which they actually did. And they just chose to buy a different house in a different city because they were relocated for better paying jobs.
Yep.
And then
our construction company, which obviously not all of you need to have a construction company, and we are not saying go start one by any means because, wow.
But you'll need one.
But you will need one to work with for your renovations or a handyman of some sort to do any repairs that is necessary or is needed. So maybe you have one. Maybe you want to start one. Maybe it makes sense to start one depending on what your goals are for your real estate company. But you definitely need to have a relationship with a construction company of some sort anyway.
Next slide.
That's it, folks.
Bonus. So we didn't put a bonus in here, but we have a bonus for you, and that is that you can get our FreedomSoft setup and systems and tools that we have available to you, all set up the way we have it set up, so that you can successfully execute on lease options as well. So you can email us.
That's why I pulled this one up. You can email us at adkinspronetwork@gmail.com or at Annie@jandannieadkins.com. And you can also check out our website, jandannieadkins.com, and reach out on our Facebook pages as well, or in the Facebook group. I'm going to stop sharing this screen now.
All right, that's it for this case study, and we hope you learned a little bit about how to run a successful, creative financing real estate master plan. Hey everybody, it's Jay.
This is Annie.
We are so grateful for you joining us on our podcast and listening in and participating. We want to offer you this additional free bonus, and that is joining our Facebook group.
Yes, where we will have other individuals, not just us, but having conversations on all things real estate, and we would love to have you join us. So just click the link below and head on over and join our group.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the other side.